The basketball's going to have to wait. Arkansas State and Georgia State baseball pull off massive upsets. It's Locked on Sunbelt.
You are Locked on Sunbelt, your daily podcast on the Sunbelt Conference, part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, Dave Schultz, Locked on Sunbelt, your teams every day. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. Use your profit boost on an NBA future and enter your chance to win a trip to the NBA Finals. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, I'm trying to get that light to point in my direction, and it doesn't seem to want to do that. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right, so expecting to go with the basketball, and we're going with the baseball, all right? Huge ball games, because I didn't think either one was going to pull them off. Let's be honest. Didn't think so. It wasn't that I had I lack faith in the Sunbelt teams. Arkansas and Georgia Tech are really good. Georgia Tech may be the best offensive team in the nation, and Arkansas is Arkansas. And we're still waiting. It is 9:52 Eastern time. We're still waiting for Southern Miss to finish up and South Alabama to finish up. And we're still waiting for the Arkansas State basketball game to finish up. We'll see if that's done before we finish up this episode. But just what a great couple of games. James Madison did lose to Virginia Tech. All right. So that happened 5-4. But not only did Arkansas State beat Arkansas, they whooped them 12-4 with a 6 spot in the second inning. And going into the all-name list, Cross Jumper was outstanding. 3 for 5, 3 runs batted in, and 2 home runs. Arkansas State put up 5 home runs in the game. Ash Quiller hit 1. Lane Walton hit 1. Houseworth hit 1. And Jumper had a pair. All right. The pitching was okay. Obviously good enough, right? Andre Allen gave up 2 runs in 2 innings. Brett Foss gave up 1 run on 2 hits in 3 innings. And Garrison got the save. He was actually very good. Gave up just 1 run on 2 hits in 4 innings. So they were very effective enough, obviously. And we mentioned this early on. Well, not early on, but during the interviews with the coaches, is that these games they're the same opportunities, I get it, for the Sun Belt, that they got to play some guys that they may need later on in the season, that we'll see if they can come in on the weekends. But that's absolutely when the SEC guys are doing it, or a top 10 ACC team in Georgia Tech, right? We got to see what these freshmen can do, and maybe these junior college players can do when we're playing, quote, lesser teams. That's what they're mind. All right, those midweek ball games. The midweek games mean a ton to the Sun Belt because that's their opportunity to make waves in the RPI. All right. Arkansas doesn't need to worry about RPI. Not at all. Right. Without looking at their schedule, right. It's going to be, LSU, Texas, Oklahoma, who's ever on there, right? Mississippi State, Ole Miss, whomever, right? They will have a top 10 RPI, basically, right? But when you can go into, and then you get bonus points for the RPI, when you go into Fayetteville and take down Arkansas, all right? Now, right now, their RPI is not great. In fact, Arkansas's RPI is just a little bit ahead of Arkansas State. I checked after the game. Obviously, more games are happening now. But I thought that they were in the 70s. Let me see if they fell even. Oh, that's basketball. Let's get it to baseball. They were Arkansas was just a little bit ahead of Arkansas State. Arkansas is 64. Arkansas State, but they jumped a bunch. Well, they had. They jumped like 42 spots. They're 80. They jumped 32 spots. So some other teams are winning, and it knocked them off. These guys played early today. So Arkansas State is 80. Arkansas is 64. But Arkansas is going to end up in the top 10 with their strength of schedule and their RPI. All right. But that's such a great win for Mike Silva's guys. They are 6-2. It's got to give you so much confidence knowing, again, you didn't host them. You went there and beat them. How fantastic is that? And then you get Georgia State pulling off the upset against Georgia Tech, another one of the huge offensive squads. And it should be noted, both Arkansas State and Georgia State fell behind. Arkansas put one on in the first. Georgia Tech put two on the board in the first inning. Georgia State didn't get it going until the fifth. They put a 4-spot up, 3 more in the sixth, 2 more in the seventh, and they just blitzed Georgia Tech at the end. They did have 1 home run, Lucas Grantham, but everybody in the lineup had at least 1 base hit. Willis McGinnis had 2 runs batted in. So did Hunter Carlson and Lucas Grantham as well with that 2 home runs with that. But, I mean, these are just huge wins for the Sun Belt. Pitching-wise, pretty good. Cole Roberts, 2 runs in 4 innings of work. Cooper Lewis didn't give up anything, did walk 3, but no runs or base hits in 2 innings of work. He got the win. And Will Bartkowski got the save, did give up 2 runs on 3 hits in 3 innings of work, walked 4. So it'll be always good to have something after beating Georgia Tech, to have something to work on. They walked 8 batters and struck out 9. So that'll be something to work on for the Georgia State pitchers, because that's not a recipe to win many ball games. They won last night, but that's not a big recipe for those games to go on. All right. Other games going on right now. You do have Southern Miss, and we're going to give you the score, and maybe we'll see if it changes by the time we get up in the morning. Southern Miss is on top 13-4. And again, Alabama in Hattiesburg gets on top with 2 in the first, but Southern Miss responded with 1. Then they put up a 4-spot in the second and a 7-spot in the fourth. And that's after Alabama pulled within 5-4 with 2 runs in the fourth. So right now, Southern Miss, right now being 9:59 p.m. Eastern time, Southern Miss is hammering Alabama 13-4. That's going to be a big win because Alabama's RPI and strength of schedule is going to be huge. All right. Arkansas State, Georgia State, and Southern Miss are going to be reaping those benefits throughout the whole season. Now, in this case, it's not an upset because Southern Miss is better than Alabama, right? One is ranked and I think one is not. And so that is a huge difference for these Sun Belt teams to get these wins over SEC and ACC wins, ACC teams. All right, we are still waiting for some finals here. And see, the Cajuns, for the most part, were up 1-0. And they won 1-0. How about that? Cajuns beat Kansas State 1-0. I may have said Kennesaw State in the yesterday morning's episode, or not episode, but just a quick preview. The Cajuns beat Kansas State 1-0. That's a nice win. And that's a second midweek shutout that they've had. They shut out Rice last week too. And Texas State is on top of, in fact, they're beating them. Texas State beats UTSA 7-2. South Alabama is going back and forth with Southeastern 9-7. That's in the bottom half of the 8th. Kennesaw State does beat Georgia Southern 7-5. Georgia Southern still looking for win number 1. They're 0-8. Monroe with a big win over Grambling 19-9. Coastal Carolina beats Campbell 13-7. So it was a huge night in Sun Belt baseball. Still waiting for a couple of finals as of right now. We got to get to bed. We got an early morning flight. So we'll see if South Alabama, and it looks like Southern Miss is going to hang on, and Texas State with a big win over UTSA. So what a great night in Sun Belt baseball. Sunbelt basketball, up until this point, we still have Arkansas State playing Southern Miss, but as expected. We'll talk about that next, right after I tell you about FanDuel and TurboTax. Ever wanted to experience the NBA Finals live and in person? FanDuel is giving you the chance to turn that dream into reality with their NBA sweepstakes. Here's how it works. Use your profit boost on any NBA future, and you'll automatically be entered for a shot to win an NBA Finals trip for two. That's right, flights, tickets, the whole experience. If you're already looking at the board and thinking about which team can make a deep run, this is the perfect time to lock it in. I love futures this time of the year, whether it's picking a team to win a championship or what about a player winning an MVP. It adds that extra layer of excitement to every game down the stretch. And now not only can your pick win cash, but could also send you to the finals. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Use your profit boost on an NBA future and get entered for your chance to win a trip to the NBA Finals. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. And TurboTax. Tax season doesn't have to take over your life. This year, TurboTax is making it easier than ever just to hand things off and move on with your day. With TurboTax, you can have your taxes done for you by a trusted local expert, start to finish, without the stress or guesswork. Instead of spending hours trying to figure out forms, you can meet with a local TurboTax expert in person or connect online. They handle everything from W-2s to self-employed forms and work to get you every deduction. You can upload your documents, go about your day, and get updates right in the TurboTax app. It's a huge time saver and gives you real peace of mind knowing an expert is handling it. For a limited time, you can have your taxes done by a local TurboTax expert for just $150 all in if a TurboTax expert didn't file for you last year. Just file by February 28th. That's coming up. Take taxes off your plate and get back to your life. Visit TurboTax.com/local to book your appointment today. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. Excuse me. All right. Let me tell you quickly about that Everydayer Club. You guys should be signing up for this. Thank you for making Locked On Sunbelt your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. You already live Sunbelt sports every day. Now take it up a level and go ad-free. Join the Everydayer Club and get Locked On Sunbelt with no interruptions, all for just $5 a month or $50 a year. Go to LockedOnSunbelt.supercast.com or check the link in the show notes to learn more. All right, basketball-wise, and again, we are still waiting the final for, in fact, it's just halftime. Arkansas State leading Southern Miss 53-44. Arkansas State has found that offense over the last few ball games. Okay, so just to quickly recap, we're looking at a potential of 7 teams tying for the Sun Belt Championship. You're going to have 7 co-champions, all right? The way it doesn't happen, if App State beats Texas State. For the 7 to happen, you need Texas State to take down App State. You can still have, I believe, 4 12-win teams, correct? Let's see. Because App State can win 12, Marshall can win 12, Troy can win 12, South Alabama could win 12, all right? So we're still in that mode. You could be 7 or 12, or 7 or 4 can be your Sun Belt champions, all right? Your co-champions. All right, so on Tuesday, it all started off with Troy. Started on a low-scoring affair. Troy only led the Cajuns 27-23, but then Troy took over. Relatively easy game, easy second half. They explode for 51 points in the second half and take down the Cajuns 78-59. Remember, the Cajuns are one of the best defensive teams in the conference, and Troy just had their way with them tonight. Victor Valdez had a Victor Valdez kind of night. 12 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, 1 steal, 6 of 6 from the free throw line. Listen to these guys from the free throw line, by the way. Thomas Dowd had 18 points, 8 of 8 from the free throw line, and 8 rebounds. Jarrell Bellamy led the way, 25 points on 11 of 13 shooting from the floor, 2 of 2 from the free throw line. And Cooper Campbell, 12 points, 3 of 6 from the floor, 4 of 4 from the free throw line. The starters did not miss a free throw. Are you kidding me? They were 20 of 20 from the free throw line. Evan Griffin went 1 for 4. He's going to be running sprints. He came off the bench and had 3 points. All right. But, Troy's just been struggling. They did not struggle here in the second half. For the Cajuns, they did not. Well, they shot 43%. Jackson Alvarez had a really solid year. 19 points, 8 of 13 shooting, 3 of 4 from three-point land. And how about this? This is a crazy stat, all right? The starters for Troy were 20 of 20 from the free throw line. The Cajun starters were 0 of 0. How do you see that? Cajuns were called for 18 fouls. Troy was called for 10. Laverne had a tough night from the floor, 2 of 10. He had 5 points. Looks like Finister did not play, so he got banged up somewhere along the way. Dorian Finister, he's been really good for them. So Cajuns have been shorthanded all year long, extra shorthanded on Tuesday against Troy. So Troy, they pick up their 11th win. All right. Can Marshall keep up? They defeated Old Dominion. Old Dominion pesky. They wouldn't go away. Marshall 97-88. Marshall was basically in control of this basketball game. They led at half 49-42 and go on for the 9-point win. A lot of points. Marshall shooting 60% from the floor. My goodness. Wyatt Fricks exploded against South Alabama, 12 of 17. He had 28 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Landon Joseph, the freshman who led them to the victory over App State, had 18 points on 7 of 10 shooting. Noah Ochudy had 18 points on 7 of 12 shooting. Jalen Spear had 18 points on 8 of 10 shooting. I've never seen any of this like this. This is amazing. And again, we're going to look what the starters did compared to the bench. Eric Harding was 3 of 5. So they missed, the starters missed 5, 7, 10, 15, 17 shots. They missed 17 shots. They made 15 and 14 is 29 and 37. They made 37 shots. They missed 17. That's amazing. Yep. So they were fantastic. Free throw wise, they only went 8 for 10. They didn't shoot that many. They shot 9 of 28 from 3. Old Dominion, Casey Shaw had 26. He was 10 of 20 from the floor. Jordan Battle, 24 points, 8 of 17. And Swanton Roger is back, the 7-footer, 8 for 11. Actually, no, he plays for ODU, excuse me. 17 points, 8 for 11 from the floor. We're waiting for the 7-footer to come back for is that Dubinsky? No, is waiting for Marshall. All right. But Marshall 97-88 over Old Dominion. So they get their 11th win. All right. Now you're looking if Coastal Carolina can get theirs. And that's kind of what we were waiting for. They hung on to beat Georgia State 76-71. They made it a little bit interesting. In fact, Georgia State had a 3 with a chance to tie. They missed it. So Coastal Carolina, they actually, because they lost the other night to Marshall, they only have 10 wins. So they are not, they have to hope that Texas State beats App State to be in that mix with that 11th win. All right. So what do we got here? For Coastal Carolina, 76-71 over Georgia State. AJ Dantzler, big ball game, 32 points, 12 of 20 from the floor. Rasheed Jones with 12 points. Only 2 guys in double figures. You had Malachi Brown with 26 for Georgia State. Jelani Hamilton had 14. Micah Tucker had a 12. All right. Not been a great year for Georgia State. They have not fared well over the last few years. All right. And again, we are waiting for the Arkansas State Southern Miss game that is underway in the second half. But at halftime, it was 53-44. Arkansas State is another one of those teams that need App State to lose to get in that 7-way tie, because they are only they can only get 11 wins. So we'll wake up tomorrow. We'll post a video tomorrow with the final scores that are still underway, that are not final scores yet while we're doing the podcast. All right, let's take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll see if South Alabama can keep the pace, and we'll look what's going on the baseball schedule as well. All right, we'll do that right after I tell you, right after you hear from Mazda, and then Indeed.
I'm Kalia Butler, host of Locked On Women's Basketball, and this is Mazda's Women's Basketball Snapshot, celebrating the work no highlight reel can ever capture. South Carolina rolled past Ole Miss 85-48 to clinch a share of the SEC regular season title and lock down the number 1 seed in the conference tournament. The Gamecocks extended their win streak over Ole Miss to 21 straight. UCLA dominated Wisconsin 80-60 to secure its first outright Big Ten regular season championship in program history. The Bruins improved to 27-1 overall and remain unbeaten in conference play. And number 12 TCU stormed back from a 13-point fourth quarter deficit to beat Iowa State 80-73. The Horned Frogs now sit alone atop the Big 12 standings and are 1 win away from clinching another regular season conference crown. These moments are earned off the clock, those long before the lights ever come on. The sweat, the fakes, the doubt, the scrapes, and coming back for more every time. Mazda puts that same drive into every detail. Wins define the moment, putting in the work, that defines you. There's more to a Mazda because there's more to you.
And Indeed, workplace chaos, deadline stacking up, inbox overflowing, and the one position you have to fill is still sitting open. When the pressure's on and you need the right hire, this is a job for sponsored jobs. Indeed, sponsored jobs help you reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for: skills, experience, location. So you're not just hoping the right candidate stumbles across your post. And here's a stat that says it all. Since I've been talking to you, companies like yours have made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who check all of your boxes with Indeed sponsored jobs. Reminder, spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all of your boxes. Less stress, less time, more results. When you need the right person to cut through the chaos, this is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt. Your teams every day. We do have one final. South Alabama baseball has taken down Southeastern 9-7 in a back-and-forth affair. South Alabama with the win, 9-7. Okay, we're still waiting for Southern Miss to finish off Alabama. They are leading 13-4 in the 8th. We'll update that if it goes final. All right, so all the favorites, although Coastal Carolina wasn't favored, not sure why that was. They beat Georgia State. Marshall won, and Troy won. All right, so App State still has the top spot in the standings. I guess they're tied. App State is 11-6. Marshall is 11-6. Troy is 11-6. Coastal Carolina improves to 10-7. They are tied with Texas State. South Alabama is 10-6. All right. So that's where we are. And we're still waiting for the Arkansas State game to finish up against Southern Miss. Tonight, you do have South Alabama against Monroe. Now, there's been a bunch of great games this season, mostly involving South Alabama, but their first ball game against Monroe was ridiculous. They should not have won that ball game. They won 96-92, and I believe they were down by, I'm going to check it, 15 points with 3 minutes left to go. In fact, here we go. Percentage chance to win. It was 71-64 with 1 minute 9 seconds to go. And ULM had a 96.3% chance of winning. That's unbelievable. Where was it 15? Because it was, it was 16 points with 11 minutes left to go. But they just kept on coming and coming and coming. With 3:42 left to go, it's 13 points. 14 points. 241. South Alabama was down 14 points. 71-57. ULM had a 99.7% chance of winning. And they lost not only in overtime, but in double overtime, as South Alabama would not go away, and neither would ULM. It was a great basketball game. It was the first game of the conference season. South Alabama went on a lay an egg late against Texas State. Texas State actually sweeps South Alabama. How about that? That happened next, as South Alabama blew a pretty good size lead in the second half to Texas State. Maybe their legs got tired after playing 2 overtimes against Monroe. So again, this may not be quite the pushover that we think it's going to be. Monroe, again, you could talk about, how many losses they've had. They only got 4 wins, right? They're 4-25. They did beat Old Dominion, snapping a huge losing streak, but they've since lost 5 in a row. Arkansas State did blow them out, but they lost by 5 to Ball State. They lost by 11 to Texas State. They lost by 1 to Troy. And even Arkansas State couldn't shake them, beating them 102-94. All right. So we'll see what South Alabama does. Of course, it's a very late game, but I'm on vacation. Also, I will be in the Central Time Zone, so it's not that late. By the time you guys see this, I will be on a flight down to Louisiana. So game starts at 7:30. All right. When you know it, on a side note, there's a bourbon tasting. Feels like it was fate or something like that. So we'll be heading to that as well down in Louisiana. So this Monroe game is not going to be nearly as easy as I'd like to think it will be. South Alabama, 14.5-point favorite. All Richie Riley, you want to see that 4-25 mark? 1-15 in the Sun Belt. Their one win is on the road against ODU. Just look at that double overtime win that we had. You think that was easy? No way. And so we'll see if South Alabama can keep up. I presume they will. I'm just not sure it's going to be as easy as Richie Riley would like it to be. And then you have James Madison, who all of a sudden is a sneaky 8-8, and Georgia Southern, who's just not had a very good conference season. They're 7-9, but all of a sudden James Madison could be 10-9, 10-8, and be in a spot at 5 or 6 seed. They could take down, a seed, a 3 seed, having to win a couple of games. So we'll see if that happens. All right, let's check out the baseball. What is happening tonight after what was a great Tuesday in the Sun Belt? Still waiting. Oh, we have a final. Southern Miss gets the 10-run rule. They beat Alabama 14-4. Your final score. So huge wins for the Sun Belt all the way around. Ben Higdon at the top of the lineup drives in 4, does have a home run. Kyle Morrison in the middle of the lineup, if not the bottom of the lineup. He had 4 runs batted in as well, and he hit a home run as well. So Southern Miss takes down Alabama 14-4. Just a great all-around night for Sun Belt baseball. Besides the basketball games happening on a Wednesday, let's see what we got in baseball. Monroe is hosting Elkhorn State. App State is at East Tennessee. East Tennessee State is 6-1. So is App State. Troy is at Georgia. That's a big opportunity. Cajuns hosting Kansas State again. Arkansas will be looking for revenge against Arkansas State. Meanwhile, Arkansas State will be looking for a sweep. Oh, holy cow. Old Dominion is at Norfolk State, and South Alabama is hosting 5-2 Tulane. So big opportunities again for the Sun Belt. Cajuns, Arkansas State, Troy, App State's on the road. That's a nice win if they get it. And South Alabama is hosting Troy. So that's all good opportunities for the Sun Belt. Okay. So again, we'll be in Louisiana, hopefully safe and sound in the middle of the day. We're landing in Baton Rouge because we're going to fly out of Baton Rouge. And then we'll cross over to Lafayette. And we're still going to have shows, for Thursday, Friday, and the following week as well. So we're not going to miss anything just because I'm heading down there. Hopefully we'll get a little Matt Daggs postgame show. All right. We'll get him on the postgame show. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. Really looking forward to warming up a little bit. It's been freezing here in Louisville. We're heading down to South Louisiana where it's in the 70s. All right. Be nice if Northeastern could pick up a win somewhere along the way. Jeez, that's why I'm going down there. I'm not sure how many games they've won so far this year. Again, a great night for baseball. And again, as expected in basketball, I give you one more update for basketball before we sign off here. Arkansas State is right now hanging on. Seems to be the first TV timeout, 58-52, 15:50 to go in that ball game. Arkansas State still has a chance to get in that top 7. If they win out and Texas State beats App State, all right, which I think is going to happen. I think Texas State is going to beat App State. If App State beats Texas State, that would be really impressive because Texas State is incredibly good at home, and they will have had a week to rest up. Same as App State, though. All right. Again, we will be next time we'll talk. We'll be in South Louisiana. All right. Everybody have I'm going to enjoy vacation. I'm telling you that. We'll still do this, but I'm going to enjoy my vacation. All right. Everybody have a great Wednesday. We'll talk to you again on Thursday. Thank you so much for tuning in. You've been watching Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. Have a great one. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.